You know what beer is?
Yeah, she knows what beer is. There's beer in Brazil.
Making her breakfast?
Yeah.
She making you breakfast. I thought Brazilians drink all the time, you know?
What am I supposed to say? I already said he could live with us.
This is Patrick. He's 31 years old from Austin, Texas, and when we first meet him, he's getting his swole on in the gym because he used to be a professional weightlifter. This is Patrick at age 20 squatting 800 pounds. Fun fact, that's how much a giraffe weighs, but anyway, the squat was deeper than the mines of Moria, and he didn't even use a belt. Patrick tells the audience that he wakes up every day at 6 a.m. to go to the gym, and he says that pain is weakness. He's on that David Goggins lifestyle right now. I feel like this is a nice change up because usually it's just a bunch of dog water musicians that go on the show to try and use the show to launch their music career when they obviously suck, because if you were actually good at music, you wouldn't need to go on the show.
Give up on your dream.
Patrick says he found his weightlifting coach in high school, and in high school he figured out that being stronger than everybody else in the room was what his talent was. Patrick says that only after a year and a half of dedicating all of his time and energy into weightlifting, he became one of the strongest people in the entire country. He also informs the audience that he made the US national team for weightlifting and started competing for the Olympics.
So I was in the gym 24/7, and that's where I ended up meeting my first girlfriend, which then ended up becoming my first wife.
Patrick says his wife at the time was a weightlifter as well. They blurred out her face to respect her privacy, but I'm sure somebody's gonna find her on Reddit anyway. In 2012, Patrick was training his ass off to compete in the Olympics and bring back the gold for America.
I tested positive for HGH.
Bro, just eat chicken parmesan and peanut butter. It's so dumb to take performance-enhancing drugs because all it does is taint your legacy and all the hard work you put into the sport. I don't think he needed it if he was already beating people with his natural talent.
A couple years later, I tested positive for dimethyl testosterone, another banned substance. And since it was my second offense, basically that ended my career.
Why would you take performance-enhancing drugs again when you already got caught for them? Like, this is your second offense. It's so stupid. Patrick says that after his weightlifting career ended, he started to grow apart from his wife.
She fell in love with the weightlifter. And so us not lifting together and being in the gym together, and I think that's when we started growing apart. She asked for a divorce and ended up moving out.
Imagine promising to spend the rest of your life with someone in front of friends, family, God, and leaving that person because they can't professionally compete in weightlifting anymore? Like, what? Today's video is sponsored by Upside, and thank God for them because these gas prices are getting insane. Upside's an incredibly useful app for anyone that buys gas, groceries, or dines out. The process is as easy as checking in on your app before you go to visit your local gas station to fill up your tank. You pay via debit or credit card and get cash back. Also, in comparison to standard credit card rewards or loyalty programs, you can earn 3 times as much cash back using Upside. While using the app, you can also cash out at any time, which is something that I really like. It makes me feel very secure while using it. Whether you want to put your cash back in your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon or other brands, you've got options. I personally use Upside before I go get gas and groceries, and my reward points go towards my electricity bill because that is mad expensive. If y'all are interested in getting started with Upside, then download the free Upside app and then use code Yourwetsock to get $5 or more cash back when you spend $10 or more using the app. Now let's get back to reviewing this cringe couple on the show. He was in his feels feeling real bad, so he asked his older brother John to move in with him, and they've kind of had this bachelor pad until he found his new girl Thaís in Brazil, who he's wildly in love with, and that's the reason that they're on the show.
John and I were both born in Massachusetts, but he lived there a lot longer than I did, and that's why he's got his beautiful accent. Hey, what the going on?
Okay, that was terrible.
That sounds just like you.
I'm not that bad.
He's kind of a heckler, and we can see that by how he's micromanaging his brother while he makes his pesto pasta. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people that truly believes that you can do anything you put your mind to, so I wouldn't really like living with John because he seems like the kind of person that lowers the vibrations of people around him.
And never gonna be 5 stars, but you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, mix it together.
Well, I'm just trying to help.
First impression wise, he seems like one of those dudes that's really insecure, and he doesn't want his brother to be able to accomplish things that he can't, so he'll project that insecurity on his brother. Pat then opens up with the audience about his childhood. He says that his mother and father divorced when he was 7 years old, and his mother had to raise 4 boys by herself. He admits that he would have liked to get more attention from his mother than what he received. Also, his mother was bipolar and struggled with drug addiction, and he grew up in a trailer park. When Patrick's mother lost her job, he admits that he stayed away from her because it was a toxic environment, and he didn't want her to take any of that negativity out on him. Despite the bad things that Pat experienced as a child, he admits that his relationship with John is so strong, especially because when he went through that hard time, losing his career weightlifting and also getting divorced from his ex, John was there for him to comfort him. So he thinks that that relationship with his brother is invaluable. This is Pat's fiance, Thaís. She's a 25-year-old model from Brazil. Patrick met Thaís on a trip he took to Brazil to reconnect with his father because Pat's father is Brazilian and he left back to Brazil 8 years ago. When Pat got to Brazil, boom bop, he changed his Tinder location to Brazil, and then what do you know? Him and Thaís connected right away. They went out on a date, they hit it off. Right away, he was like, oh my God, there's no way this girl is real. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. So he was very infatuated with the way this girl looked. They had a fire first couple of dates, so he kept booking trips back to Brazil because he wanted to see where this relationship with Thaís would go. I don't ever advise to enter relationships purely because of physical reasons, but I do want you to remember that this guy went through a very traumatic experience. His ex left him because he wasn't gonna become an Olympic lifter, which is the shallowest thing I've heard in a very long time. Something good about this couple is that Patrick proposed to Thaís after 11 months of dating her, which is a good amount of time. So that makes me actually think that they're a legit couple, because the fact that Bilal proposed to Shy after 7 days of knowing her in real life, that's sus. The next scene opens up with John saying, I definitely whipped some ass, youngster. Right now, John and Patrick have some friends over and they're all playing drinking games, except for Patrick. He's in the other room talking to Thaís. I really appreciate the fact that Patrick learned Portuguese to communicate more effectively with his partner, because that's not to be expected from a guy going on the show. Like, how long were Paul and Karini together and he didn't learn any Portuguese?
Get out of here.
John brought them here. No fast, amo.
You lost Oh no, problems in paradise. Clearly, Thaís isn't thrilled about living together with John. And I see where she's coming from, because it is a weird situation trying to get your romance on with your brother-in-law in the house. When talking about John, Thaís says, oh my God, he's so annoying. Why do we have to live with John? It's not good for us. We need our freedom to have our own family. Just imagine you're Patrick and Thaís. You go out on a date night. When you come home from your date night, there's John on the couch. Hey, what's up, guys? Shark Week's on. Come on, have a beer, pull up a chair. That's such a buzzkill. And you would think at age 35 or however old John is, he would develop some self-awareness and realize that it's time for him to leave the house and get his own girlfriend. John and Pat go to a bar to have a wicked awesome time and talk about how Patrick is sharing his location with Thaís. Let's look at that conversation right now.
Done checking in?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When you go out, do you have to have your location on?
No?
He does.
It's so jokes that he just asked the random couple next to him what they think about the situation. Like, what a great social experiment this is. And what a great cameo for this random couple. Like, they got to be on 90 Day Fiancé by just going to this bar. This random couple's named Brian and Angela says, I think having a tracker may show some signs of jealousy, but sometimes you gotta go to that extreme. And when she says this, her man Brian's eyes get all big because he doesn't want to be under surveillance like Patrick, so he has to right away chime in and say that this is not a good thing to do. He says, it's kind of weird. Hope it works out for him. But to me, it's His girl's loving the idea of him sharing his location with her, and he's just trying to make her forget it so fast.
I'm the one that came up with it, because I was tired of dealing with the hypotheticals. You know, like my whole thing was like, well, here's facts.
You put the location on yourself?
100%, yeah.
On a serious note though, you do need trust in a relationship, and it does suck that Patrick is being controlled from Brazil. I just want to know if she also has her location services on so that he can see where she's at as well. But if it's just one person doing it, then I don't really see the justification for that. That goes on to say the security system cameras on the house. I go through the app and send her the footage to basically show her no girls are entering the house. Yikers, that is very excessive, bro. It turns out that Patrick also stopped working with female coworkers out of respect for Thaís. My question is, why be in a relationship with someone you can't trust? That just doesn't seem like fun to me.
John definitely, gives me some about being so whipped by Thaís, but I couldn't deal with the arguments over nothing. I also had to change how I work.
As sweet as it is for Patrick to do this for Thaís and give her that reassurance, I find it incredibly toxic and one-sided. Like, what does she do when she goes on a shoot for her modeling career and there's a bunch of dudes around? Maybe she goes to a social event after a party because she gets paid to be at the party and there's a bunch of horny dudes around.
Sometimes I'll go out with a female rep and we just knock on doors and, I'm training them and showing them what to do. Thaís just doesn't understand that guys and girls work together.
Aw, look at gullible Patrick. I'm calling BS right away because Thaís said she works as a model in Brazil, which means she's around hella dudes, bro. If a girl tells you she's a model in South America, that can mean a lot of different jobs that involve working with men. There's a possibility that this girl's been cheating on him the entire time she's been in Brazil, so I find these compromises very one-sided.
It's hard being in different countries, right?
Yeah, that's...
Is trust not trust?
Yeah, different countries is different,
I
bro.
don't know.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I do not.
Then shut up.
Oh, got him. Get a girlfriend, John. You're lonely as Patrick goes on to say that when Thaís comes to America, he's gonna stop sharing his location with her and all is gonna be well. Fast forward, Patrick picks up Thaís with flowers at the airport, unlike Holt. Patrick and Thaís run into each other's arms and it's mad romantic. Then when they step out of the airport, he shows her his Tesla. I've noticed that Pat's Tesla gets a lot of airtime on the show, which I'm not mad about because Tesla is tight and Elon Musk is the closest thing we're gonna get to Batman. Thaís has never seen a self-driving car, so she's taking IG stories and she's super hype about it. And then when they pull up to the house, she's even more hype because she's never lived in a house this nice before. When this couple steps into the house, they're greeted by John. He gets some champagne out of the fridge. They bust it open and start drinking, and Pat is feeling real good. He's got his girl finally here in the United States, and he's like, hey, John, put that TV on loud because me and her are about to go clap cheeks.
Can I watch?
After the couple has a great first night in America, the next morning, Thaís and John get in a huge argument. John looks like he's been snacking on a couple beers this morning by how he's standing up playing his PS5 and not sitting on the couch. When Patrick tells John that he's making Thaís breakfast, John straight up says, she should make you breakfast.
Making her breakfast?
Yeah.
She making you breakfast.
This is why you're single.
No, I'm gonna make her breakfast.
Morning, John.
John, you gotta ease up, bro. It's perfectly normal for him to want to make her breakfast when she flew all the way from Brazil. I don't see anything wrong with this.
What is this, John?
What is this? What?
Beer?
Beer?
In the morning?
You know what beer is?
Yeah, she knows what beer is. It's-
Beer.
There's beer in Brazil.
I don't know. Just asking a question.
Let me repeat. This is why you're single.
Funny that John was in their business when he said, oh, you shouldn't be making her breakfast, she should be making you breakfast. But when Thaís wants to get in his business and be like, why are you drinking this early in the morning, he gets all defensive about it. It's like, you know what beer is? And gets all passive aggressive like, bro, come on, don't be a bitch about it.
Again, okay, John?
Oh, no. I live here too. I live here too.
I don't want to say John's an alcoholic or anything, but I haven't seen one scene of him without a beer in his hand. John's obviously drunk here, and we can see that by how he was playing the PS5 standing up. The funny thing about this relationship is that with Patrick and Thaís concerned, just individually, they seem like they get along great. When you add John to the mix, it creates this very dysfunctional living space. But I do think that their segment wouldn't be as exciting if John wasn't in it.
So crazy people.
No, crazy?
drink
I know
beer
crazy.
in the morning?
No. How you gonna say crazy? Come on. You arrive one day, I'm sitting here playing a video game, you're gonna pull this? Nah.
It is a little early for some beer.
No bueno.
This is so awkward, you guys. I don't even know why John would want to be in the house with these two. Like, wouldn't he just feel like a perma third wheel? I feel like the only real problem this couple has is Patrick's weird codependency with his brother. So if John just left and got his own place, this couple wouldn't have much to fight about.
If I have a beer at 11, 12 in the afternoon, what does that matter to her? We should be ourselves and individuals, and if that's a problem, you know, I bite.
So when Patrick makes Thaís breakfast, John looks at the eggs and is like, you know what would really compliment those eggs? Steak. So I'm gonna make a steak. He begins to make the steak. The problem is he's drunk, so that when he goes for a flip, it ends up landing on the floor, and then Thaís starts cracking up, Pat starts giggling, everyone's laughing at him, and then he actually still wants to serve the steak. But when Thaís is offended, like, I'm not gonna eat a steak that was on the floor, John straight up says, hey, what's good for me is good for you. And your people are Brazilian. Don't they like drink all the time?
What does it matter? I thought Brazilians drink all the time, you know?
Anyone would be insulted by that, and I feel like it's just an ugly thing to say. Problem is that Patrick enables his brother to act like this and really wants to play both sides when realistically you should probably choose which one you want to live with because they're always going to fight like cats and dogs. Patrick's got to be the first guy on the show that has gotten his girl a dog before she even showed up to the United States. He got her a Pomeranian puppy because he wants her to have something to do and take care of the puppy while he's at work. In episode 8 from this season, Patrick takes Thaís on her first date that they've gone on together in the United States. He wanted to wait a couple days for her to get acclimated to life in Texas, living with him and his brother. Something funny that Thaís does is she constantly gives Patrick hints like, babe, I love when it's just the two of us, which is code for I don't want to live with you and your brother.
I bite.
I've always had plans to move to Dallas eventually for work because I manage sales teams across the entire state. An opportunity came up now to work with some people up there, and I need to get there ASAP.
Patrick and John both work for a home security system company. Patrick says he makes $1,000 a day when he works, which is a very high wage. It's almost like the amount of money that Bilal thinks he makes. Ooh, shots fired. I'm just kidding, Bilal. I know you got a really fragile ego, little guy, so I don't want to give you too much shit.
John vai Dallas tá bem.
Ele pode ter o trabalho dele sem morar com nós na casa.
Amor, ele vai morar com nós.
Jeepers, gang, it looks like Pat's doing the most to still live with his brother. This move was the perfect excuse to get rid of this dude. If I was Thaís, I'd find it incredibly strange that my partner was so hell-bent on living with his brother and me.
Resolver isso, falar com o John, ok?
What am I supposed to say? I already said he could live with us.
Amor, eu não tenho palavra.
So far, Pat has presented himself as a successful man. How many times have we seen his Tesla in a shot? I feel like if he's not splitting rent with John, I don't really understand why he wants to live with his brother so bad. Thaís even says this behavior from Pat is worrisome. I don't know if he's afraid of taking that next step with me. I don't know if he wants to take care of his brother forever. Patrick keeps using work as an excuse to live with John, but I don't see why he can't just buy a house next to them or an apartment next to them, and then in the mornings he could still link up with John and they could still work together, just not share the same living space. Next thing you know, the lovely couple makes the move from Austin to Dallas, Texas. John actually went a day early to unpack a couple things and get the place situated before they arrive, which I thought was really nice, but Thaís still hates him, so it is what it is. The young lovers pull up to their new crib. It looks like a nice house, but Thaís is not impressed because she liked the other house more.
A little small.
Small?
It's just because it's 2 stories. It seems the spaces downstairs are a little smaller.
Sua sala so big. Look this.
Yeah, but it's big enough.
I feel like literally any other girl would be so appreciative to live in a house this nice. It looks brand new. And for Thaís, if you want a bigger house, feel free to throw in. Even though John drinks excessively, he works for Patrick, which adds value to Patrick's life. Meanwhile, since arriving to America, Thaís has done nothing but complain and adds stress to Patrick's life. Her reaction to the house is a huge red flag, and even though she doesn't like living with John, she agreed to the terms and conditions before she arrived to the States. This relationship isn't an equal give and take, and Thaís would be more positively viewed by the audience if she acted with humility.
I'm just gonna go upstairs and let you guys, continue.
All right.
Amor, e sua casa tá uma bagunça. Eu achei.
Bagunça? Que bagunça?
Bagunça, tudo. Olha.
What?
Look around at the house, it's a mess. It's like you guys just moved in. Stop talking, Yourwetsock. You're making too much sense, but not even you can stop me. I'm gonna take all of Pat's money and spend it. Latest episode of the show, Patrick takes Thaís on a date where they drink purple beer and he gives her a lot of gifts.
Que é isso?
Amor.
Achei que era um gato. É gato.
Well, why the hell would I get you a cat?
Because it's...
She saw fur, you got her a Pomeranian previously. It made sense to me in my brain, but yeah, anyways, nothing like the Welcome to America lingerie set. Way to give this girl a gift for yourself, Patrick. After the introductory gift of lingerie, Pat hits her with the big time gift, which is an iPhone. Okay, so Pat's weirdly putting his foot down about how he doesn't want her to be able to track his location anymore, but I don't like the way he went about it.
But
what?
vou parar, você tem meu localização.
Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I feel like involving gifts just makes the situation so much more loaded. Thaís says, you're clever, right? Give me a phone to turn off the other phone.
It feels bad when, I'm with somebody and they're, the love of my life and they don't trust me.
Pat's the kind of guy that would rather compromise than have arguments with his partner, and he's been slowly giving this girl a lot of control and making a lot of compromises for this relationship, and now he's trying to go back on what he originally proposed and agreed to. Then as Thaís communicates to him that she doesn't like this, he says, then don't take the phone, all passive aggressively, and I'm just like, whoa, bro, if you're just going to work, what do you have to hide?
I don't trust you.
I spoke to a girl after we were together.
That explains the immense trust issues that this girl has and why she wants to know his location all the time. So after this fact gets outed, Pat proceeds to bro-splain what happened from his side of the story.
Okay.
Pat says that after he went to Brazil and met Thaís, he got back to the United States and him and John had a party at their house. At this party, there was a lot of girls and Pat started making out with one of the girls. He says he could have easily had sex with that girl, but he had been drinking a lot and his dick was floppy in his pants. Translation, if he didn't have whiskey dick, he would have sent that girl in his house. Patrick goes on to say, I felt bad telling Thaís I loved her before doing this, and we were kind of in a relationship at that time, but since then I haven't done anything like that to her again.
I can't believe you've done this.
Pat broke the circle of trust, and it's more suspicious now that he doesn't want to have his location services on. So later that night, John does the most to test the fuck out of Thaís because he throws a housewarming party and doesn't give Pat or Thaís a heads up before he invited everyone over to the house. Can't really call it a party though, more of a kickback because they only have about 9 people there. Bottom line, this is a huge yikers and Patrick and Thaís are heated. Earlier, Patrick said that him and Thaís are working on their trust issues, so the last thing he needs is a party at the crib right now.
I invited a few people.
Yeah, we invited
for your for your housewarming party. A few more people.
I might have known about a couple of them, so let's go.
This is Wagner. Him and Patrick have worked together for a number of years. They're best friends, and right now the mission on John and Wagner's head is to invite girls over to get their dicks wet. Patrick and Thaís are especially angry about that.
Yeah.
Essa são mis amigas.
Cool.
This is so awkward. They need to have everybody take some shots or play music or something. Thaís admits that she doesn't feel comfortable having people at the house. She's never been one to entertain and have social events at her house, so she wants to kick everybody out right now.
Your tone is beautiful.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Patrick's talking to Wagner like, bruh, you got me in trouble. My girl is heated right now. Why did you have to invite all these girls? Even though Patrick is handling himself well, he's not flirting with any of the girls or doing anything. He feels Thaís's beating eyes on him because she's watching him like a hawk. Next thing you know, Patrick and Thaís go to the bedroom because they want to have a private conversation and she needs some reassurance right about now.
Isso, mulheres aqui muito feio.
I know.
And you are beautiful Brazilian.
Wow, Pat, how are you gonna call these girls ugly when you're built like Steve from Minecraft, you Roblox looking head ass boy? So in a couple of days, Pat and Thaís go furniture shopping because she has a huge problem with the interior design theme that John and Pat went with for the house. Thaís says to the audience that she's not thrilled that Patrick makes all the decisions in their relationship and doesn't consult her before making a decision. And she's also not thrilled about the fact that they're living with John.
I like this sofa. You can change everything in our house. What do you think?
No.
No?
All right, obviously these two are on different wavelengths because Thaís is under the impression that they have unlimited funds, but at the same time, that is the narrative that Pat has set for himself because he's paid for this girl every single time they've been together, both in Brazil and in the United States. Pat goes on to say, I don't want to spend money on stuff I don't need, especially when I'm the one paying for it. Well then, why did you bring your Brazilian money dump to the furniture store to buy furniture, Patrick? You're sending mixed signals, bud.
I've already spent like $10,000 on you since you've been here.
For what?
For your phone, driving, food, and water, and a house to live in. All the clothes I bought.
Y'all gotta remember too, we haven't seen Thaís cook, clean, or do anything in any way, shape, or form to help Patrick since she touched down to the United States. It's understandable why Patrick is starting to feel resentful because it just seems like his fiance wants to spend all of his money. Patrick says to the audience that he's under a lot of stress financially because of the wedding, plus dropping bans on everything Thaís wants. So when Patrick explains that all of these expenses are giving him quite a bit of anxiety, Thaís's response is so trash, you guys. Thaís says, now you know what it's like to have a fiance, get used to it. I don't know if Patrick has seen that old movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but he is chosen poorly. They continue shopping for a bit. Thaís likes these $180 pillows and Patrick is like, we are obviously not getting those. Those are too much money for pillows. And I agree with him. Like pillows at Target are like what, 20 bucks? After looking around the store, they agree on getting this vase for around $40. And then Thaís makes a shitty dig at Patrick.
It's cheap for you, huh? I know you like that.
So she's trying to convince Patrick that if he doesn't spend money on her, it means that he doesn't care about her.
You don't care about my feelings.
Fortunately, it doesn't stop there, folks. When they get back to the house, the argument continues.
Ele gosta de controlar a relação. Essa é a verdade.
Lice keeps saying that Pat wants to control everything, which I understand because he seems like he gets off being in that power position, but at the same time, she's very financially irresponsible and it's not her money, it's his money.
We'll get the decorations later, after we plan our wedding, and we figure out how much that costs.
You don't told me that.
Well, that's because things change. This is all new to me too.
Change your mind because
No, this stuff's new to me. I'm not used to taking care of someone and paying for everything.
Lice then asks Patrick how much money he has so that she can understand what their budget is, and he refuses to show her how much money he has.
Why do you need to know how much money I have? And that's like never been important to you, so it's kind of weird.
Be your wife.
And?
All right, Pat, I see what you're trying to say, but there's no reason to be so defensive about your finances if you have nothing to hide. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I think it's perfectly reasonable to want to know how much money her fiance has, especially because she can't work right now. She is financially dependent on him until she gets a job.
That's strange. You're not even my wife yet. You're not even my wife yet. It's my money. You'll know once you're my wife.
God forbid he's secretly a bust out. She gets married to him and then she shares his debt and then she's got to claw her way out of the trenches as an immigrant in America. Next thing you know, Patrick actually throws money at Thaís and tells her to buy whatever she wants, which is incredibly disrespectful. Him being so secretive about his finances makes me think that he's a drug dealer or does something incredibly sus, which while we're on the topic would make sense because the dude got busted twice and got kicked out of the Olympics for pumping up that HGH. And I say that, but it is also possible that this dude's work is legit. He's just hella weird. All I'm saying is if I'm Lice right now, I'm on my Nancy Drew vibe because I want to figure out what the fuck this dude does for a living, because if it's illegal, I'm not going down too. So far from watching their entire segment, it seems like the only thing Patrick likes about Thaís is her looks. And I feel like if you're gonna spend the rest of your life with somebody, you need more substance than just outside appearance. Well guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know which couple you want me to review next. Comment below, subscribe, follow me on Twitch and on Instagram right now.